Section B. The single story of beauty standards. Beauty is subjective, not objective. I have gripes with these magazines that give out awards like the most beautiful woman in the world or the sexiest man alive or whatever. Because cultures and people are diverse and different, man. It's impossible for something to be universally appealing. What may be beautiful to you may not be so beautiful to me. Because we're different individuals, right? Well, that's just my sweet way of saying Giselle Bündchen is kinda overrated. However, mainstream white media has to a large extent successfully peddled their own single monopolized story of beauty, which is long flowing straight hair, light skin, makeup, a tall slim figure, etc. As physical features many of us Africans naturally don't have, the kind of people that have suffered the most from this one-minded perception of beauty are black women. Enter the Dora Milaje warrior, Okoye. Okoye is a proud Wakandan woman. She represents the unapologetic cultural pride of the nation. She is bold, with African art painted on her head, not because she can't grow long hair or afford to buy those expensive Brazilian weaves of yours.
Past willing, this will go quickly and I can get this ridiculous thing off my head. It's a disgrace.
But she recognizes its her natural essence and it is beautiful as it is, as well as being a statement of her cultural pride. Upon blowing her cover, the first thing she strips off is that wig from her body and onto the white man's face, as if she is symbolizing her rejection for these European standards of beauty that have haunted African women for centuries.
Where she gets the wig and dashes it in that man's face, I wanted to stand up and applaud. I felt like I had done the big chop for the first time all over again, right?
I know you did. The wig is simply a foreign object that contaminates her Wakandan essence. Therefore, when she doesn't have to pretend anymore, she immediately disposes of it. Okoye's cultural pride just radiates through every scene she is in. Even with her use of the spear, a traditional African weapon that holds racial derogatory connotations that inspired such colonial racial slurs like spear chaka, because it is seen as a primitive and ineffective weapon as its holder by the colonial white man. But when you see Okoye and the Dora Milaje use a spear in Black Panther, primitive is definitely the last word you would use to describe a spear. Since its opposite day, this is probably done intentionally to effectively represent African cultural truths as well as to cleverly set up this line when she is criticizing Western elements like she always does.
Guns. So primitive.
Section C. The political system. To many outsiders, Africa is often generalized as the slowless, chaotic, borderless, monotonous continent of poverty. Of course, many earlier European-based works like Heart of Darkness or John Locke, which Chimamanda also mentions in her talk.
This single story of Africa ultimately comes, I think, from Western literature. Now here's a quote from the writing of a London merchant called John Locke, who sailed to West Africa in 1561 and kept a fascinating account of his voyage. After referring to the black Africans as beasts who have no houses, he writes, "They are also people without heads, having their mouths and eyes in their breasts."
These narratives pioneered the African single story to considerable success, that Africa is chaotic with no sense of order or system. However, this is another stereotype and also a single story Black Panther smashes on its head. This is how similar the movie becomes to Chinua Achebe's classic 1958 novel, Things Fall Apart. It really fleshes out the pure complexities of traditional African customs, beliefs, systems I have rarely seen on screen, let alone in Hollywood. The film, although it focuses on a single nation, it makes it a point to show that there are still different cultures across the continent, that Africa is not a country.
Although I still get quite irritable when Africa is referred to as a country, the most recent example being my otherwise wonderful flight from Lagos 2 days ago, in which there was an announcement on the Virgin flight about their charity walk in India, Africa, and other countries.
The color and costume diversity is clear in such a way that you appreciate Wakanda as a single nation, but you also get to appreciate the uniqueness of the different tribes. That is why this scene when T'Challa is about to defend his throne is not only important to the message of the movie as a whole, but also one of the greatest scenes in recent cinema. The balance between the political and traditional systems is clearly laid out, with every Wakandan, with the exception of a few, respecting these laws. A great example of how much they respect the law and order is that great scene when Killmonger challenges T'Challa for the throne. It is clear most people in the kingship don't like Killmonger, but they don't dislike him enough to forget that.
Do not do this, T'Challa.
As the son of Prince Njobu, he is within his rights.
Yes, it is inspiring to see such principled characters such as M'Baku and Okoye who know tradition is tradition and the law is the law and no one is above it whether they like it or not. You know, a little certain people could learn a little something from this.